Good evening, listeners. You're tuned into your radio station, and I'm your name. Tonight, in a breaking and historic development, the United States has ended its longest-ever federal government shutdown. We'll bring you the full story, what led to this standoff, how it ended, and the fallout, both political and economic. Stay with us. Shutdown ends. First, the big news. After 43 days of paralysis, the U.S. federal government has officially reopened. According to congressional sources, President Trump signed a funding bill late on November 12th, bringing an end to a shutdown that began on October 1st. This is officially the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The bill passed the House by a narrow 222 to 209 vote. Under this agreement, a temporary funding resolution keeps the government running through January 30th, 2026. Some agencies, like Agriculture, Veterans Affairs, and Military Construction, got full-year funding under a minibus provision. For the 1.4 million federal workers affected, including furloughed employees and others forced to work without pay, back pay is now on the way. The Office of Management and Budget says many of these payments will be processed by November 19th. But reopening won't be instant. Agencies are scrambling to restore operations. Services that were shut down or heavily disrupted need time to resume. And the economic toll. Estimates suggest losses in the billions. Political fallout. As the government reopens, many are asking, who takes responsibility and what now? President Trump, at the signing, said that shutting down the government was no way to run a country. He blamed the Democrats for what he called an extortion of the people. House Speaker Mike Johnson also criticized the Democrats, accusing them of using food aid and federal workers as political leverage. On the other hand, some Democrats are furious. Their key demand, extending the Enhanced Affordable Care Act ACA tax credits, was left out of the final deal. They say this compromise is only temporary, and they vowed to continue pushing for those subsidies when Congress reconvenes. There are warnings that this could happen again. Since the resolution only extends funding until January 30th, another standoff could loom if a longer-term deal isn't reached. Analysts say this shutdown exposed deep partisan divides, particularly on health care and budget priorities. But for now, federal workers are breathing a sigh of relief, paychecks are coming, and government functions are slowly restarting. Economic and social impact. The 43-day shutdown didn't just disrupt politics, there were serious economic and social consequences. Travel was hit hard. The FAA and other agencies faced staffing shortages, causing flight delays and cancellations. Millions of vulnerable Americans relying on food assistance programs like SNAP went through a very uncertain period. Economists estimate the cost of the shutdown could be as high as $7 to $11 billion in lost economic output. Consumer spending dropped sharply during this period, adding more stress to local economies. Then there's the human cost. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers were forced to choose between paying bills and waiting for a government deal. As operations resume, some programs will take weeks to fully restore, meaning the ripple effects will likely be felt long after the shutdown formally ends. That wraps up our coverage tonight on this historic moment in U.S. politics and economics. The government is back, but the scars of this 43-day shutdown will take time to heal, both among disenfranchised workers and in Washington's fractured halls. Thank you for listening to your radio station. I'm your name. Stay tuned. Up next, we'll bring you mention next show or segment. Good night and take care.